Christina Price, and I am doing a mock interview with Kayla Crystal for Interviewing Techniques class at Horry Georgetown Technical College. This is going to be a 15-minute session that will be later transcribed, and let's go ahead and do that. Kayla, we are going to go ahead and we're going to record this session. At any time that you feel uncomfortable or you want to stop the recording, you just let me know. I am not a licensed counselor in any way, so anything that you say that could cause like legal issues, those will have to be recorded either way, and I can't give you legal advice. If you feel uncomfortable or you just need a subject change or you just need to stop, you go ahead and let me know. We can stop right there. It'll be no problem. This is Juliana. Hi, Juliana. We can go ahead and let's see, why are you here with me today?
I wanted to talk about a problem, a situation that I'm having right now where I'm feeling a little frustrated. We are, my 7-year-old son has had some social and other issues, and we're working, his pediatrician has referred us to get him evaluated for autism, and we're working right now to get that evaluation done. But he's had a lot of trouble in school last year and this year. His teacher this year has been very understanding about it, but it's also causing an issue where he has a really hard time in the mornings, and it often makes us late for school. Usually just by a few minutes, but late nonetheless. And because the school that he goes to is not our home school, we got a waiver to go to the school, so I have to drive them and pick them up. So the tardies is causing a problem because now they're saying because the kids have so many tardies, because I have other children in the school, that they're not going to be, they're not going to have their waiver approved again for next year.
Right.
So, so I'm frustrated because if we could get the evaluation process sped up some, I feel like the school would be more apt to understand the situation, and they wouldn't be, they would be a little more understanding and flexible, and same with the district, they would be a little more flexible with what they allow. And so I'm frustrated with that. I'm also frustrated that, I'm just frustrated it's taking so long, and I'm frustrated that they're not understanding.
Right. What made you think that your son needed to get evaluated in the first place?
I've always noticed that he was maybe a little bit different than other kids, behavioral and social and things like that.
Right.
And when he started school, it really became apparent, how much he was struggling. And then this year especially, we got a really good teacher this year, who kind of just didn't chalk it up to, him being bad or whatever, that just not being a cooperative kid. And she's very sweet and loving, and just some of the things that she pointed out and noticed, and then there was some just certain behaviors that I started really picking up on. I also met another mom who has a child that has already been diagnosed, and she noticed several things And then I noticed similarities between my son and her child.
Right.
And it prompted me to call the pediatrician and maybe to investigate a little bit farther.
Right.
And the pediatrician then said, let's go ahead and refer him out to get the evaluation. But, I mean, that was back in January that we started the process, and here we're almost at May. We need to, once he has a diagnosis, if they're going to diagnose him after they evaluate him, then he'll get an IEP.
And that is in the school?
Yes. Okay. And which is just a learning plan.
More designated to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a plan that is designed specifically for him and his needs. So we'll get that, and then I feel like once we have that things will start falling into place and be better for him.
Yeah.
But we can't get that without the diagnosis, and they'll do the IEPs at any time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But they try to do them all in April and May, and we haven't even gotten our diagnosis yet. So it's very frustrating. I call our case manager once a week to check in, but recently there hasn't been really anything much else she could tell me, any additional information. That we're just waiting to actually get the evaluation.
Right.
And then when I got the phone call last week that due to their tardies, that their waiver was going to be withheld for the following year. It's very upsetting because the school that they are at is the best school for him. It's rated number 1 in the district.
Right.
Our home school is it's not the greatest school, especially for kids like him. And I really feel like he would be left behind at our home school. So, and I went and I talked with the principal, and I found out that their school is red zoned for next year, meaning that the district they're at or over capacity. So the district will really be looking at the attendance and the waivers and things like that. So
I can hear the concern
mm-hmm.
as you're talking about that, and I know that you're wanting, like you said, this teacher really knows your son
mm-hmm.
and really is more understanding than anyone that he has seen in the previous years.
Mm-hmm.
And has he always went to this school?
Since he started school.
Okay, so it's almost like they would understand him a lot better because they've known him for so many years, and I understand the concern about being transferred over to a different school and just having to start it all over again. And with new patterns and new plans having to be made, I see that it probably wouldn't be very beneficial towards him because I know that routine is key. Have you spoke to anyone to maybe expedite a process or see if there's somewhere else that you could go to get this process done, to get his evaluation and his treatment plan started?
I've spoken with his case manager, and she's doing all she can. There's not really much else that can be done other than waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I call her every week and to see if there's any way that we can push it along, and she's doing her best, but there's only so much that she can do. So we're just waiting on the whoever does the evaluations. We're waiting on them to contact me to set up the appointment for the evaluations.
Now, I mean, I know that in our previous sessions you are a busy woman,
Mm-hmm.
and with the 4 children that you do have, are any of your other children showing symptoms or signs of the same way that your son is?
No.
So this is is it impacting outside of school? Does this and basically getting up and going ready for school? Does this impact your daily life?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Everything has to be really thought out, and we have to cater, to, around him, and
Right.
We can't make abrupt changes to the schedule, and we can't just abruptly decide that we're going to do something or make
Right.
changes to our routine. Everything has to be thought out and talked about. And
What are some of the routines that you do have with your son?
well, we wake up in the morning. He has to have waffles every morning for breakfast. So we wake up and he has his waffles, and then he gets dressed and brushes his teeth, and like on the school mornings brushes his teeth and gets his socks and shoes on, and then he waits until I say it's time to leave. If if it even goes even a little bit out of order, then he gets really upset. Or if he can't find a shoe, then he gets really upset. And then I pick him up from school, and we come home, and either sometimes we do homework before. If he's had a really rough day, then we'll do homework after dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So, and really just kind of I really let him lead.
Right.
As far as if I can push him to go deviate from, sometimes we'll go and do things after school, but if he's really not having that great of a day,
Right.
then, we have to go straight home.
Okay.
So.
Now, what are like you said that if he can't find a shoe or if he can't do something else, that he kind of has a meltdown. What are some of the things that you do to help him with that meltdown, and does it actually help you in the process?
I try. Usually I just kind of tell him to calm down and relax. Sometimes he will. Sometimes he will just get more frustrated, which makes me more frustrated. I found lately, I've been kind of watching some videos and researching things, and a few of the things, have said that when kids with autism get to that point, it's sensory overload, and they need quiet and not a lot of bright lights and things like that. So the last few times he's had a really, really bad meltdown, I get him, I put headphones on his ears, and I tell him to cover his eyes, and he has a bathrobe that he uses as a blanket that's really soft, and he gets that and he holds it, and he just kind of closes his eyes, and I tell him to take deep breaths, and that seems to help. He calms down a lot faster than me getting frustrated, because he's frustrated and melting down.
Mm-hmm.
Because then he just gets more worked up, and then it takes him longer to calm down. But if I, help him through it and, take a lot of the sensory input away,
Right.
he seems to calm down a lot easier.
Now that you seem like you've done a lot of research on this topic, and it's a learning process. It really is. It's kind of just figuring out what works really well with you as a unit, you as a mother, you as as a friend to your child, and because everybody's so different. And I like that you guys are working really hard and working together to figure out the different sensory sensations and whatever that could actually be triggering a lot of his different issues. So that's good. That's really good that you're taking the time to actually go through and learn more about it. And I think that we need to make sure that you get a hold of that doctor and you get a hold of your caseworker and see just about what you need to do. What steps is there from now that you would need to do to make sure that things are being taken care of, and kind of expedite the process as soon as possible. Because it seems like all of the issues that you have right now with you being late at school, or having issues to leave the house to go do something, maybe something unexpected does happen. It's harder to do the unexpected because it needs to have such specific set days for your child. And maybe, they'll be able to not only diagnose, but help you make plans to maybe broaden your son's horizon, make it to where it's a little bit easier for you and him and your other children to manage your time.
Yes, that's the hope.